What's
All right.
up, dude?
Nothing. How are you? Thank you for
I'm,
having me.
oh my god, dude! Thank you for doing this. I'm excited because I think we've never met, but we have a mutual friend, Yasser Lester.
Oh yeah, the king. The
The
king.
when I was with him, he was just the prince. I used to live on his couch for like a year and a half.
Oh, I'm sorry. Although
No,
that was probably a very nice couch.
oh no. This is way before the success. This was
No,
when
but
this
I
was when
imagine that his success didn't change his couch. That he's so
No,
grounded.
dude, we lived in a fucking flop house. He was living with his brother. Him and his brother were living in the tiniest room, and then they were living with these two other people. Funny thing, it was the girl whose name was on the lease. Her boyfriend went to become the guitarist for the band, the Black Veil Brides. Do you ever heard of that band? They're like a screamo.
No, I'm 42. I'm way out of it. I don't know anything.
What's the newest band you know?
Newest band?
Newest band. Yeah, if you were like, oh yeah, I'm hip, I'm 42, I'm cool with the kids.
Oof,
what band? What would you say to like somebody that's like 18, 19 years old to try to sound relative?
First of all, I'm getting anxiety from this proposition. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like I haven't found anything new in a long time. I like
what do you got, dude? I'm really excited now because I feel like
I don't know. I don't know.
Is this like a hip test? Like that like young people should start asking older people like what's, and it's not TikTokers or anything. I'm talking about straight music.
I liked. I mean, look. This is how lame I am. I mean, I liked Olivia Rodrigo's album because my daughter listens to it a lot, and I think it's really good. I don't know if my own taste, like I've started to get into a little bit of this new like basic country vibe of like Zach Bryan and Marcus King.
Love Marcus is a homie. I need to get into Zach Bryan. I like Zach Bryan because like Bruce Springsteen has been showing up at all of his shows.
Yeah, that's what got me into him. Was I saw that and I was like, let me give this guy a listen. And I like it. It's like minimalist Americana, which I think is kind of cool, especially in I was thinking the other day, like I can't remember the last time a band came out. I mean, it's been all trap and hip hop centric for like 15 years, I think,
Yeah. Well, it's more individuals now. Like you said, you mentioned Zach, you mentioned Marcus. I worked with Jelly Roll and I continue to go on tour with him. But it's like they're just like there isn't like it's not like it was in the 80s, the 90s, even the early 2000s where it's like the yeahs or
the Strokes or the White Stripes. It's like that is gone. I don't think. I mean, I haven't seen a killer band or heard of a killer band in a while.
All right. Well, here's my question. Do you know who Sabrina Carpenter is?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you're hip. Then you're like if you.
Well, I'm alive. I mean, like I don't know her music. I couldn't sing you a Sabrina Carpenter song.
Do you know? You can even say she's got the song where they say "motherfucker" in it. That's like that at least.
I don't know that.
Okay.
I don't know. I think she has a song about coffee.
I don't know that. I think like here's the thing is that I think you and I are both at the equal level of hip to talking to a young person. I'm 44. So yeah, I got 2 years on you, bro. So
yeah. Oh, I like what I like? I just because her name has been around, I was listening to Chappelle Roan.
Oh, Chappell Roan. Yeah, she's great.
She's great. She's great.
She's like the it person right now.
And
great pop music.
Yeah. Middle-aged men love her.
Is that true?
Yes, it's true. It's weird. It's like they really middle-aged men have been like, I love you.
Yeah. No, she is great. It's this. I think this is all talking about this leads into the next question, which will then lead into us eventually getting into R.E.M, which is this is a question I like to ask a lot of people, being that you are 42 years old. Who do you?
We don't have to keep saying it.
Why? It's a great age, dude.
It's just like
we're dude
here.
We did it. Well, 40. This 42 is not 42 of yesteryear when we were
but I
10.
don't want to hear. I don't like I don't know. People are like, you did it. I'm like, what? So what? I can die now.
You can't die yet. You can't die yet. No. You can't die yet. If you die right now, people are like, oh, he was so young.
Tragedy.
In the 50s, same thing. You need to get to at least late 60s, early 70s. And they still say that's pretty young.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to make it that far.
Me neither.
I think I'm checking out soon.
Soon?
I think so. I think probably not even health or anything. I think I'm just so out of it. Like a bus will hit me while I'm checking my phone. You'd
be like, God damn, after this podcast, I got to see what hit music is on.
Totally. I know exactly. It's like, oh, I got to listen to Murmur by 12. And then bam, bus hits me.
All right. This is my question I ask everybody. Who do you think is the great American rock band?
Ooh.
The Stumper, dude. The Stumper. And it could lead into who we're talking today. I mean,
no,
I don't think I don't think it sits the way that you think it's going to sit, because when you really start throwing out names, and I think you're probably about to, and I might be wrong, but I think you're going to be like, oh, wait, yeah, maybe they're not. That's actually an individual, no individual. So you can't say Bruce Springsteen.
That's fine. I think this is actually it's a deeper question than just who do you think? Because American music is so varied, just by the amount of genre that we have. I mean, you could call hip hop American music. You know what I mean? And so there's a strong case to be made that Outkast is the greatest American band. But I won't make that case because I don't want to fight anybody. But I think you cannot exclude hip hop, and you have to look at two bands in hip hop that changed music recently. I think you have to look at Outkast and the Migos. And you have to say, just on sales and ticket sales and influence, that those are two of the great American bands. But I think the interesting thing about American bands is that you don't need a hit. You don't need to even be on the radio to be the greatest American band. Because to me, I think it's probably the Grateful Dead.
What you were just leading there. I was hoping you were going to steer into that. Now, I mean, there's arguments for them to 100% be that. I do think, though, it needs to be a mixture of radio play, sales, popularity, longevity.
Okay.
I get a lot of Aerosmith.
I would take Outkast over Aerosmith.
But see, the thing is, because I'm saying rock band, not just great American artists.
I know, but that's so. I don't know, not to be a apologist or something. It's just so boring. Band, what does that mean? When I saw Outkast, there was a 14-piece orchestra in 1997 in Newark, and it was the most blown away I've ever been by a concert. And people be like, "Oh, it's not singing." It's fuck you. And that tour with Lauryn Hill opening.
Oh, I saw it. I saw that tour, but why was it the Aquemini tour?
No, it was the one before. It was before.
Okay.
It was in between.
I saw
when the Fugees came out. And they were you open and we'll do. And it was, when I tell you, dude, mind-blowing, nothing I've ever seen. So I would say okay, fine. You want to talk guitar hero stuff like Joe Perry and Aerosmith maybe. But I think Outkast has more hits.
No. I love you. From just having this conversation, and that you're 42 and you're going to die soon. So I'm going to say I love you.
Dude.
But there's no fucking way that they have more hits than Aerosmith.
I think Outkast has more hits. And they have
Adam,
and they have a bigger single. They have a bigger single of all time than
hold on.
Aerosmith.
Different Adam, not Adam. Thank you for popping up. Look that up. And I'm not trying to do that to be I'm proving you wrong.
No, I don't care.
I
wouldn't care if I'm wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong, because I think you just have to we could start naming Aerosmith songs, right? And we're gonna get to 6, 7, and you're gonna be like, nah, borderline, right? Borderline hit.
I'm not even that big of an Aerosmith fan.
Well, yeah, but so it's so what's a hit to you? Is Love in an Elevator a hit?
That's a hit. That was
No.
a top 10 hit. What are you talking about?
If that's Lovin' an Elevator is like the third best song off that album. Like we're scraping now. We're into a place where it's truly like I think that and I think this, because I guarantee that there are songs from Outkast albums on the hip hop charts that would have made a bigger impact than fucking stupid Lovin' an Elevator. Just saying. So I think you have to like look at the entire spectrum when you say American rock. I don't know, like, does radio play and radio hits make good songs?
No. And I'm not, but I think, when you talk about, because I got an argument last night now that Oasis is coming back, which I don't think I've ever been more excited to go see shows. It's just like, cause I'm
to go see Oasis and hear the 3 songs I like.
Oh,
no, I'm like, no shade. No,
you're not lying. Yeah, dude, you're not lying. You're not lying, but I think it's the same shit. Like when I just got off the phone with Morty and we were talking about this record, because I always go over everything about the album and artist that I'm doing with my buddy, and he lived it and he knows it, and like this is one of like his favorite records, and is it the biggest by R.E.M? God no, but it's like this respected thing, and so when you're talking about like it's more about like the time period of sometimes when an album affects you when it came into your life. And I mean, Oasis
is very astute. And while I was listening to the album to get ready for this, I was just like, man, I don't like this album, but I do like how it is like Kurt Cobain listened to Murmur for like a year straight. And there are legit like 1-to-1 Murmur, Michael Stipe vocal, even effects that they use that Kurt then used. I mean, even, on and on and on we are, and they like let it play out.
Yeah.
That's from fucking Murmur.
Yeah.
Directly. Yeah. And like, so that's what I think when I listen to, I think you have to think about like, first of all, I see this thing right in the chat. Aerosmith had 21, Outkast had 10. I just want to say,
you're not judging it, but you're like, I was talking top 50.
But those statistics are racistly skewed. You can't, a top 40 hit for Aerosmith in the 70s, like, of course, like you can't. There's no way that Outkast was going to get the radio play that an Aerosmith did.
It's not true. I don't think that's true. No way. What are you talking about? Marvin Gaye, The Temptations, all that music was still popular.
Yeah, but Outkast.
First of all, there was no hip hop in the 70s. There was no hip hop, but it's until like the 80s.
Outkast was not played on Z100 until way later in their career. And so I'm saying, like, I just think like, and there's a whole mixtape portion of it. Look, Aerosmith. Sure. I just think you probably hit on 2 bands that are like pretty similar in the
it's funny,
American
it's like zeitgeist. I'm not like Outkast. So I went to that show. I went to the Aquemini one. And I agree. One of the best shows I've ever been to. Did you guys have the Indian guy with the turban on Congos?
Amazing.
Okay, good. It always reminds me of that Ron Funches joke is like, if you're with like, there was only, he was mad because my cousin was mad because there's only one black tuba player. He's like, if you got more than one black tuba player, but you're in an Outkast music video.
There were so many horns.
Yeah.
And they were also doing stuff with like drumline stuff before that was popular. Like, but it doesn't matter.
What matters is that Outkast is arguably one of the most important bands of our lifetime. And the problem is, if you ask a millennial, not even a millennial, let's say with Gen Z, is that the younger one? If you ask them, and that was what's crazy? That was the first episode we did on this podcast. October 31st was Aquemini. I did it with my buddy Byron Bowers, another person I lived with, another comic. And then we've done Stankonia. So Outkast is like fucking legitly represented on this list. They deserve it. And they're great. But it's like, if you ask somebody that's born now, and I think the same shit with R.E.M. Because R.E.M. was one of the bigger bands of my lifetime. But dude, if you ask somebody like young, they have no idea who the fuck either one of those artists are. Probably not even Aerosmith either. Definitely. If they don't know Outkast and R.E.M., I doubt they know who Aerosmith.
Well, I think that's why Aerosmith to me, I guess as much as I like Aerosmith, it's always like empty calories to me. Like it's like an empty calorie band in a lot of ways. Like one step up from Kiss. Good poppy stuff, but like Diane Warren songwriting and like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sure.
It just never lit me on fire. I was always like, oh, cool. Like, even in the 70s, like Dream On is like, it's a good song, but I don't know. I mean, I've listened to Pump all the way through and it's great. Like, I don't know. There's something about R.E.M. that's the opposite of that in a way where it's like, it's less produced, but it's so full.
Yeah. When did you get into R.E.M? Was it like, because I remember, to take my moment is like, I remember, God, it had to have been Losing My Religion and Shiny Happy People and the music video for that. And that kind of started it. And I never went back. I didn't go back until I started.
You are.
Say what?
Stand in the Place Where You Are.
No, I remember
one for me.
Yeah. Where'd you grow up anyway?
I grew up all over the place in New York City, Chicago, and New Jersey. So I was kind of like moving around a lot as a kid.
Where was your formidable music years created? Because I would say like I was always
New Jersey.
New Jersey is where
high school in New Jersey in Livingston. Like
shot through the heart.
Yeah.
And you're to blame.
Yeah.
You give love.
Yes. Yes. It was a huge deal. Bon Jovi was a huge deal.
Sure.
Enormous deal. But I grew up in Essex County. I joke with Ezra from Vampire Weekend, not much, that like we grew up like 15 minutes from each other. And like, there's something about the Northeastern Jews that like lead you to being like picking up a guitar and sitting in your room.
Yeah. Dude. I love that you just dropped that, it's like me and Ezra. It's like, yeah, dude, me and when I'm, the same with me when I'm just shooting the shit with
please. I thought it was cool.
Camper Van Beethoven.
Yeah, you're dropping. Come on, you've been dropping names left and right. I read.
No, but people you know. People you know.
Oh, you know Ezra.
Byron Gasser. Oh, I can drop some names. You want some name drops?
No, I love your name drops. I like dropping names. I think it's fun. It gives people context.
So do I. I mean, I think there's dropping a name where it's like, oh yeah, it's apt to the situation and the story, and then there's like a reach where you're like, sometimes like you didn't have to say the name, you could have just said.
Yeah, I guess that Ezra Koenig one was probably a reach.
We did that record though. Vampire Weekend it was so great. That's what I love about this podcast. Record? We did the first one. We did their opening record, the one that everybody went bananas over, which rightfully so. Rosebud Baker said it was the sound of Brooklyn being gentrified.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. I mean, they're a band. All the bands that we talk about, Outkast, and R.E.M. is like what I love about this podcast. And it's two things. One, I get to fucking hang out with you, and I get to hang out with people that like I know about her and I respect, and so that's always great. And we get to connect over music. But two, you get to really go back and re-listen to the music that is the bedrock to all of our lives and the music that we grew up with. Because, like you said, there's Nirvana in this record. There's the Strokes.
There's a whole genre of bands from this record. I mean, like Soul Asylum is a band that sounds like this record.
Yeah, dude.
Like that's a whole band that was like, we're gonna sound like Murmur.
Yeah.
Connor Oberst.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, look, it's you can say
My Morning Jacket.
Sure.
Like it's like these huge bands that are you listen to them, you're like, wow, that's so interesting. And the timbre of his voice is kind of, shaky. It's emotional. And then you're like, wait a minute. They're doing Michael Stipe. They're just doing Michael Stipe.
I loved being able to really like dig into this record. Not much like you, I didn't like everything that I heard on it, but what I did like, and from doing this podcast, R.E.M. has become a band that I now like really understand how important and cool they are. And I don't know, do you know anything about their history? Do you know?
Yeah,
like
I know. I know. Well, Michael Stipe is like a New York City icon, and I think he moved now, but he used to live in an apartment in Chelsea that was next to this bar called McManus. That was where the UCB, like when you did a show at UCB in the late 90s and early 2000s, you went to that bar in Chelsea. So like Michael Stipe was around a lot, like just like hanging out. And I feel like yeah, I was pretty knowledgeable about them from Athens, Georgia. I mean, he's one of the main, homosexual activists from indie rock. I mean, that's kind of what Losing My Religion is about, right? Like that's when he kind of like became that icon. He's important. Michael Stipe is super important. And then
super important.
Also his film production, I think in the 90s, after R.E.M. kind of fell off, he produced some really incredible movies, including, I think, Being John Malkovich.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So, and that's like what I love about this band. And like you said, Michael, is that, it's like he's a part of everything without being known to everybody that he's a part of everything. He's just, he's a true artist. And we were very lucky when we did Automatic for the People. We actually had the bassist Mike Mills on to talk about the record, which was, he's like, one of the nicest people. And I always get nervous when I'm talking to, like, when you have like the real rock star or somebody that's that important to the record on the podcast. And he could not. Is he
making movies now too?
No, I don't know, but I do know that he's in a band, dude. I just missed it. But him and I think it was him and Peter Buck, and then a couple other famous people in this music era just did a show at Radio City Music Hall where they basically played the music of Big Star, which is another reason why I love this podcast, is because I never would have heard of Big Star. Do you know Big Star?
Yeah.
Well, see, I didn't. And that's the basis of like so much of this shit, which is like, because this, in a sense, and I know my friend Morty, who I just got off the phone with, is going to get mad if I fuck this up, but I think it's like, this is like, there was no such thing as post-punk when this really came. This was like kind of being that, like, that post-punk, that alt-rock, that 120 minutes, but it still has that, like, that cream cheese basis of the power pop of like the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I have a little.
It feels like, and I don't know what Peter Buck's main references are as a songwriter, but a lot of what I heard on Murmur reminds me of like young Elvis Costello. It's got this sort of like emotional punk with minimal production. And I feel like it's got this tinny, it feels like it was almost recorded in like an aluminum room. And, like, I feel like Elvis, like, if you're looking at the lineage of like, how do you get to Murmur? I feel like a lot of it is like a Southern kid whose parents listen to like, Johnny Cash or whatever in Georgia. And then they get an Elvis Costello record. And you know what I mean? And they meet the coolest artsy kid in school. And it turns into Murmur.
Yeah. Oh my God. So it's actually really cool. Adam, other Adam, do you have the full story about like because I know I spoke. All right, so they first hear it. This is kind of like the quick story about the band. So they released their first single off this record, Radio Free Europe, in 1981, followed by the Chronic EP in 82. And then the Chronic Town, not the Chronic. That was my bad. The Chronic Town, still on the forefront of Chronic.
Yes, no, they're Chronic Central.
So this is where it gets cool, because they have a sound. They're different. They start preparing for the debut album in December 1982. The record label at the time paired them with producer Stephen Haig. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Who had a higher profile than the band's previous producer, Mitch Easter. Haig's emphasis on technical perfection did not suit the band. The producer made the group perform multiple takes of the song Catapult, which demoralized drummer Bill Berry. Also, Haig took the completed track to another studio and added keyboard parts to the track without the band's permission, which is like insane for him to just be like, yeah, I'm going to do this needs this without asking the band. Like a band that definitely already has their own sound. They have their own feel. And he's like, no, this needs keyboards. They don't even have a fucking keyboard player in it.
Yeah, but he's hired by the label, right?
He was hired by the label, yes. Unsatisfied, the band members asked the label to let them record with Easter. They agreed to a tryout session, allowing the band to travel to North Carolina and record the song Pilgrimage with Easter and producing partner Don Dixon. After hearing the track, the record label permitted the group to record the album with both of them. Because of its bad experience with Haig, the band recorded the album via a process of negation, refusing to incorporate rock music cliches such as a guitar solo or even then popular synthesizers to give its music a timeless feel. I wanted to ask you a question because you've had such a cool career, dude. And without naming any names, these are my favorite kind of questions. What was for the worst collaboration or job you've ever had? What characteristic made that person tough to work with? You don't have to name certain names. You can say whatever you want, but without getting into too much detail or getting anybody in trouble. Like, what was the bad, and then what was the characteristic?
I don't think there's one, because I've just I think I can pinpoint one characteristic that is common in people that I don't particularly work well with.
Yeah.
Which is defensiveness. I think that in entertainment and art, and especially as an actor, if you're defensive, it's like it negates the whole process, because your job is to be adjusted. That's what art is, right? Like, that's why there's a director and a producer and a writer and an actor. It's like all those people are doing their jobs, and the whole thing is adjusting. Don't do that, do this. Don't do that, do this. Do it this way, not that way. Do it this way, not that way. From the time that you start writing, from the time you start thinking, from the time it's all collaborative like that. And so the worst kind of person to me is someone that immediately is like, what the fuck? You don't like my idea? Or like, feels that it's personal, or like just can't adjust. And those people really, like, anytime I'm grouped with one of them, I'm like, how did you end up here? Like, there is no control over the situation. You have to let it go, and you have to work with other people. So that means they're going to tell you, like, do it this way or do it that way. And if you're like, no, I did it right, it's like, I don't think that's
at all
helpful at all.
Who's someone now, instead of doing the negative one, who is someone that you love collaborating with? Who have you been lucky enough to work with? You're like, collaborating with them was like a gift.
Oh my God. I mean, my career is just a blessing of people like that. I mean, I've had more like that than I've had negative. From Yasser Lester to Sam Richardson, Damon Wayans Jr. to Ego Wodum to Casey Wilson, directors like Jared Hess and David Wayne.
Wow.
Most of the people that I tend to work with the same people over and over again. So I feel like those people, they just have like a really good way at which they know that the whole job is being critiqued. So you have to kind of like not let that critique become defining of the moment,
Oh God, yeah. Dude, just going through the people that you mentioned, I mean, these are all everybody that either if I know them or not are like some of the nicest people in Hollywood. Truly. David, we had David on the podcast. I forget what record it was. Other Adam, if you'd look it up, because I'm actually curious to remember it.
He's a musical encyclopedia too. He's really
but it's like, those people that just like understand comedy. They understand the funny so easily by being so, even like he just knowing that not even knowing that I would see it. We get this during the pandemic, so we're doing it on Zoom, like this, and he's got up on the wall of his office just a framed picture of me, like my headshot just up there. And it's like we're halfway into the fucking thing. And I go, is that me? And he goes, oh, he's like, oh, you see, I've had that up there for years. Like it's I like to look at it for inspiration. And it was just it was so great.
Yeah,
that
he's
it's
a
like
prankster.
it's like the shit of like when they hear about like Conan O'Brien will like just he lives comedy to the point where he'll play a joke for years. Like literally he'll do a setup of the joke and then we'll wait 3 or 4 years for the payoff. And it's like those are like you understand why they're so fucking successful, dude.
Yeah.
Totally. Who's the let me like, who do you think is the funniest person you've been able to luckily work with? Who's somebody that cracks you up?
Oh my God. That's a tough question. There's so many people. But
gets you for some reason. They like
Tim Robinson makes me laugh when we do scenes together. I sometimes I can't look at him. He's just so funny and interesting and weird and
a
sweet guy that anytime I've worked with him, I find it hard to keep it together. Ego is a bit machine. She's just like so quick and relaxed that it's really hard sometimes to not laugh when you're working with Ego.
Yeah.
And then I would say Damon Wayans Jr. really fucking cracks me up a lot. Like just as a friend. Like we just you ever have a friend that you just like giggle with? Like
oh yeah.
I feel like I'm like a giggling with him all the time. So those are probably my 3.
Yeah, there you go. Those are all great people. Damon is hilarious. I've never met Tim or Ego, but dude, Damon Wayans Jr. is fucking hilarious.
Damon Wayans Jr. is the funny. Tim Robinson's is just another level. And Ego too. They're all 3 of them are very similar too because they're like really sweet and they kind of lull you in with this sweetness. And then once you're in, it's like look out. You're not going to be able to hold on to your like laughs.
Oh God, that's great. And but he also, of course, Damon Wayans Jr. is like it all makes sense. He grew up in one of the most important comedic families, like
genetically funny.
I mean, just like I mean, it's like still the hardest that I've ever laughed at a thing in public was opening night of Scary Movie. And I was on a date and I had just the right amount of weed and just the right amount of alcohol. And opening, I'm dying laughing, snot's coming out. And the girl like looks at me and she's like, ew, what are you doing? Like, calm down. And I was like, well, that's the last time we're going out, bitch. I was like, you're not with me. And I mean, still to this day, what's the hardest you've ever, we got to get back to Murmur, but what's the hardest you've ever laughed at a movie in public? Like, were you like when they jump off the building in The Other Guys and they're like, land for the bushes, dude,
I think probably a Will Ferrell. I think in old school when he gets hit with the dart in the neck.
Yeah, dude.
And he's like, I like you, man. You're crazy. Like, I don't think I've ever laughed harder than that scene. Like Sean William Scott is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, is it bad?
Well, speaking of, I gotta always find ways to segue back into the record. Speaking of some of the greatest comedy moments, do you understand how much acclaim this record got? Do you do you know this? So this
did it win a Grammy?
Adam, did it win a Grammy? Because I don't have that right in front of me. What it did do is it came out and Rolling Stone magazine named it the top album of the year, beating out Michael Jackson's Thriller, The Police, Synchronicity, and U2's War.
I think they were right.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you said you thought you said this. Well, you didn't really.
I don't like it, but I don't like those albums either. I mean, they're good albums, but like when you think about it, when you think about those albums and you think of the sounds that came, like the influence that those albums had.
Yeah.
Murmur had a way for I mean, maybe Thriller, but even Thriller, you're like, who sounds like Thriller? No one. It sounds like Michael Jackson. You know, and like U2, similarly, it's like, yeah, it's a U2 record. It sounds like U2. But like Murmur, everybody sounds like Murmur. everybody wanted to be Murmur for like 20 years.
So you said like, you know, when you said Nothing Sounds Like Thriller, why do you think Thriller, you know, like what makes Thriller like the pinnacle of like greatest albums, like something you mentioned, like what are the characteristics?
The concept is good, you know. It's like it's got this vibe head to toe, you know, like especially with the video and the horror stuff and whatnot. It's got like a real vibe. But that album, like Michael Jackson in that era, it's so different from anything even today. Like no one makes like upbeat R&B anymore.
I mean, you have like you saw. I mean, because I would say it's
like
R&B dance, yeah. But that's still they're still making it. But this is
Usher's
like
done, right? Like Usher's in the classic rock category. He played the Super Bowl.
That's crazy. That's
you
so
know,
crazy.
Like, there is no other Usher. I mean, Justin Timberlake, but he's done. He's old. You know, Justin Bieber is retired. Like there are none of those guys anymore. I mean, there will be again. You know, someone that like dances around and like does that stuff, but it's like for the most part that became pop music, right? Michael Jackson was a king of pop.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I don't know if that influenced. I don't know if that was as big as like you look at literally an entire genre. Grunge music is made from Murmur.
And so and to go off of what you're saying, because I was going to flip it, I think everything you just said about Michael Jackson and Thriller, you could say the same thing about this record, which is it is, you know, whereas like U2's War, great record, the Thriller, you know, hit after hit after hit, but we had gotten Thriller before, just not those songs.
Yeah, you
had gotten like the Police Synchronicity is their last record. It's a great album.
Oh,
we've done it on this
records.
Yeah, we've done it on the podcast, but that's like
it's not much different than the Police.
Exactly. And so when you're getting something like Murmur, you're getting like this is probably, you know, you're getting music that is like angular and jangly. Like those are adjectives you would never use really to describe any of that shit. Their lyrics were like, the cool thing is like their lyrics are hard to hear and like difficult to understand. And it's all because of like Skype.
It makes me go back to your American band question again, which is like, I think there is one band that you're missing, but I don't know. You can't say, it's hard to distinguish band or person, but like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, to me would be the closest thing to.
Hold that thought. I got somebody I got to let a package in. Hold on.
Yeah, do it.
Get the fuck out of the way. Sorry about that, dude. The thing was going off and the dog was going to go crazy.
No worries.
Wait, where do you? Are you in LA or are you in New York?
I'm in New York.
Oh, right on. Are you in Chelsea?
Harlem.
I'm Gramercy. I'm on 22nd and 1st.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yes. I'm just bopping around.
So you know how the importance of when the package person shows up. Like if you don't let them in, you ain't getting that shit.
No, I don't have a doorman. I'm like
me neither.
Running downstairs. Yeah.
Have you ever had package stolen?
Like every day, I had to start sending it to my mother-in-law's.
Oh, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, it's all right. It's just the price of living well. It's like, you know.
Yeah. That's not the end of the world. So wait, what were you saying? You were saying before I cut you off. Tom Petty?
I think that like as we're talking, the one band when you mentioned like jangly and angular, and it makes me think of like the sound of a Rickenbacker, you know. And I feel like I don't know if Peter Buck would say this, but I feel like just even the choice in guitar he plays and stuff, it's like, I think that the one influence I can really pick up on in this album and be like, oh, besides Elvis Costello, is like there's a lot of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and Murmur.
I never would have thought that, but I can see why you would say it though.
Well, yeah, I mean, like listen to the intro to what's that song? The Tom Petty song, The Waiting.
Yeah.
The Waiting. I feel like if you listen to The Waiting and then you listen to the single off this album, what's the first song?
Radio Free
Europe.
Yeah.
The Waiting and Radio Free Europe are very similar.
Oh, I want to hear that now together. Can you get it? Other Adam, can you pull those up for us? He'll do it.
It's almost like Radio Free Europe is the minor keyed.
Let's talk about Radio Free Europe because it's Rolling Stone magazine's 2021 list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. This came in at 174. When I talked to like I said, this is the third record from R.E.M. we've done. The first one we did was we did Document first. We did that with Bobby Lee live in Montreal, and then we did Automatic for the People with Mike, and that was a little under a year ago, I'd say.
I'm honored. What a great and weird group of people.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. Like the people we've gotten. And by the way, Emily, our booker, fucking loves you. And because we've been trying to get you, I think, for a while. And it just keeps like coming or like,
sorry.
No, dude, this worked out perfectly. This is great. So, and we'll have you back. I've got another fucking.
There's 500 albums.
Well, we've already done 300. So we've got another, I'd say 190, 197.
How often are they going to update this list? Like, am I going to be around for another one?
Yes. Well, they already updated. This is the 2012 list. And then in the summer of COVID and George Floyd, they updated a new list for the 2020 list, which is basically the same, but it's funny because we were talking about Outkast. And these lists, this one in particular is probably written with the majority, I bet, percentage of like older white executives and songwriters and stuff. So the new list is much more diverse. And Outkast Aquemini, which came in at 500 on my list, dropped to like number 90 something.
I would put it in my top 10.
Well, yeah, and then I think like another big move was
Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
That moved from the high 300s to I think number 10. Which well, here's the thing is like dude, I'm completely agree with it 100%. There's some movement on the list that was also really weird where it like for every list that had ever come out prior to the 2020 list, number one record was Sgt. Pepper, always Sgt. Pepper. And then on the new list, it dropped down to like number 25.
So I was like, number one?
Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? Great record, but thank you.
Come on,
it's summer 2020.
Overcorrection, Marvin. It's an overcorrection. Yeah. I think we can all agree Sgt. Pepper is the ultimate. I mean, I would say that there's been some albums in the last 10 years that I could like. This is an interesting discussion. Like, what albums should infiltrate in the last 10 years? Because I do think, I mean, you have to. There's been some like incredible like Blonde. I mean, like, I listen to Blonde more than probably most Beatles records.
Blonde?
The Frank Ocean album?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
I mean,
I've never listened to that record. It's great. I should listen to it. I listened to the first one, his first record.
Oh my God. Blonde is, I mean, it has maybe the best song of the last 20 years, White Ferrari.
Oh, I've never heard that. Here's the thing.
White Ferrari is the best song of, I think, the best written song of the last 20 years, in my opinion.
Really?
In my opinion. Yeah.
I'm in. I'm big.
Frank Ocean.
I will listen to that as soon as we're done.
I mean, you have to, like that album, Watch the Throne.
Yeah.
Kanye stuff. Like there's so much that has happened in the last couple of years that like these lists are so flowing because like as much as I love R.E.M, like Dirty Sprite 2 probably more impactful than like
is that Future?
Yeah, like
okay.
just making sure. Kenneth,
sure. Okay. Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Well, you already said Migos earlier, where I was like, Migos?
Dude, Migos is
okay. No, sure. Look,
Migos is the Ramones. Migos.
No, dude, no. Future. If we're talking Migos, Future is the Ramones, dude. That's Migos is just doing what Future did.
No, dude,
Migos, baby, I DJ'd at a strip club for 6 years. I'm not the height of all this shit.
I agree with you. I think, in my opinion, Migos with the way that they took 3 distinct voices and did fills in between in a rhythm, in like making it feel like part of the song, like it was a group, like Destiny's Child, which is the question you were asking, right? It's like, to me, when you listen to Migos, it's like listening to the Ramones. It's like boom, 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 song done. Boom, 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 song done. And like there's a certain math to their thing. It's like punk rock, 1 + 1 + 1 = 3 with a bridge and we're done. And like, I don't know. I think Future, yeah, sure. Future is part of that. But when Migos brought it to the suburbs and it became a group, it was like, yeah, it's pretty influential in my opinion. Like, so that's what I think of that band. Like, well, you know what is another band in the last 20 years that I will say an album that
you got?
The Alabama Shake's second album.
Oh, dude, I used to play that.
I started crying. I went to see them at the Greek and on that tour and started crying. Like just watching her, I started just like bawling, crying.
Baby, you're talking to the dude. I've cried so much. I cried the entire Tears for Fears concert at Madison Square Garden. Completely. From the opening song until the final one, I cried. Yeah. Billy Joel, Bill Burr, one of his closing jokes in his new special is about me and him going to see Billy Joel on mushrooms and me crying in the middle of it. It's, dude, crying and music, they're like movies. Yes, it makes sense. I remember seeing, you know, whether it's like, you know, you're watching Schindler's List or Moonlight or some of these like hard, like just emotionally, you know, where you can empathize with the characters. But music, dude, fucking Everybody Hurts. After we did the podcast, and I just would listen to that and just weep because it's such a beautiful song. And I think I
teared up on this album when I was listening to The Passion, talk about the Passion. Like,
yeah,
when he starts repeating that, you know, and you just like, you start going into your head, you're like, I wonder what kind of trauma he was going through at the time, how ridiculed he must have felt and how crazy it must have been. And then he comes out with that song and you're like, I teared up. I was like, oh my God, you know.
Oh, dude. Hold on. Morty sent me some stuff here. Let's talk about this. So, okay. This is something really fucking cool. Like I said, Rolling Stone magazine, best of 1983, beating out less than 5 years after the debut. Rolling Stone featured them on the cover at 5 years after this. And on the cover, it says America's Best Rock and Roll Band.
Hell yeah.
That's fucking dope.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So they re-record their first single, Radio Free, which has all of the soon-to-be classic R.E.M. signature sounds, a driving rhythm section, Mike Mills soaring backing vocals, Peter Buck's jangly, robust guitars, and Michael Stipe's unintelligible but compelling vocals and lyrics. It became their first ranking single when it went to number 78 on the Hot 100. Even though they agreed to re-record the single as their first song on their debut album, they felt like it lost some of its energy and spark compared to the earlier versions. On the insistence of IRS Records, they did do a video for Radio Free Europe, but it was just but it just has the band walking around local areas I don't know what the interspersed. Okay, Jesus Christ, I'm stupid. With video of plants and buildings. Yeah, I mean, this is like Radio Free Europe. I mean, this is the song off that record. This is like, and I know you mentioned some other ones you got emotional, but this is like everything I think that R.E.M. went on to become and all the influences. I feel like it all starts right here at this fucking song. That's how important this fucking song is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think it's like, it's the signature sound of R.E.M. I was shocked on the whole album and this song too, just how much Kurt Cobain's voice sounded like Michael Stipe's. Like it really is jarring to me at sometimes, like where you're almost like, oh my God, Kurt Cobain was doing Michael Stipe, you know, especially on the softer songs. Like that whole, if you listen to the Unplugged album, it's like almost an impression in a lot of ways.
Sure.
You know?
I read that a lot of the lyrics in this song, in this album, is he didn't, it wasn't like I mean, there's meaning and stuff, but it's just, he was just finding words that fit phonetically the way that this goes. You ever see the band Sigur Rós, or do you know them?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you ever get to see them live, go see them live, because they rule. Like, they're really incredible. But their second record, the lead singer just made up this weird language to do. I mean, he at least fucking Michael Stipe is singing actual words,
right?
Like, this guy's just making like vocal. You know, but it works. It works.
I mean,
because
Yellow Ledbetter is a top 10 hit.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have a single word written.
Have you seen I'm gonna name drop. Bill Burr sent me I'm gonna send it to you, but it's an Instagram reel of him singing Yellow Ledbetter, but it's all just as he says the word, there's actually a person whose name, like a profile of somebody is.
I've seen, like they do that with Future a lot too. I've seen.
That's so great, dude. But I think that's why, we were talking about the sound of Michael's voice. Fuck, I'll even say this: Oasis, dude. The way that fucking it really adds to the song, and that's what people love about Michael Stipe. They love that he's this shy guy, but he has this like very certain voice. Liam in Oasis, the way he like yangs and does those, like they fucking love that. That's what makes it special. Fucking Future, the fact that you can't understand 90% of what the fuck he's saying.
Signature style, Bob Dylan. I mean, like it's like once you find your style, you go with it. I'm trying to think of now like how many bands we could name that directly sound like this record, like where their whole career sounds like this record. Like I feel like in the 20s.
Oh God, yeah. Dude, after talking to Morty, dude, he's just sending me like dope shit right now about this record. After talking to him, it's like and after talking to Mike and after talking to Bobby and now talking to you, like I just keep liking this band more and more. I'm looking for vintage shirts, and you could say all their later shit, but dude, this is the stuff.
So you never saw them in concert?
No, I never did. Did you?
Yeah, I saw them on the is it called the Orange Crush tour? The one with
What's a Frequency, Kenneth?
Frequency Kenneth, which is my favorite R.E.M. album because I like harder shit. Yeah, and it's their hardest.
Sure.
But he was at the time doing this cool thing. They had like smaller tour. It was not. I don't remember where. I think it's somewhere in Chicago, but they were like, he had this like painted blue eye thing that I had never seen before across his eyes. Yeah. And again, how influential he is. Go look at any Chappelle Roan makeup.
Yeah. And
it looks like R.E.M. on the What's the Frequency Kenneth tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I could see her. I could see, look, I think, the songwriting, and maybe not even just on this record, but the Shiny Happy People is just a perfect pop song.
Yeah.
It's very like, it follows like the way like people don't realize. I mean, I know you do, cause you're music and you're a fan, but like About a Girl by Nirvana is about as perfect a pop song ever written. It just has those fucking crunchy guitars but it's literally, if that was written in 1964 by the Beatles, everybody would be like, oh yeah, that's 100% the Beatles.
It's a song that sounds like R.E.M.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the most, I think I referenced it before. That's the song that goes all alone is all we are. Right.
Yeah.
That is the direct rip from this album,
that's All Apologies. Apologies.
Yeah. But About a Girl too. Yeah. Like it's so crazy when you hear him on this album, just like how many people woke up and were like, I need to sound like this.
Yeah. Here, let's talk about a couple other singles. Let's talk about the second single, Passion.
I teared up with that.
That's the one. Yeah, it didn't find any success. By the way, despite all the acclaim, the album at the end of 1983, Murmur had only sold 200,000 copies, which their label felt was below expectations. But that's so funny. Well, so Adam, can you find out what the next record did sales wise? Actually, find the next few, because I'm curious to how could this suddenly go from being what you would call, dude, you're talking, it's given the same year as Thriller, which sold fucking, 80 million records around the world, and Murmur selling fucking 200,000. And they're saying that this is, 5 years later, they're saying this is the band, the Great American Rock Band, or whatever that what I said was.
This was their Bleach, right? Like in a lot of ways, it was supposed to be their Nevermind, but it underperformed. And then their next album,
what is their next record?
Full of single. It wasn't that Shiny Happy People.
No. The next one is Reckoning. Here, I'm pulling them up right. Next one is Reckoning, which I don't go back to Rockville. So Central Rain. Fables of the Reconstruction comes out in 85. That's, I don't know any of these. I mean, I hate to say it. I don't know these singles. Can't Get There From Here. Driver 8, Wendell Gee. Life's Rich Pageant in 86. Follow Me Superman, Dead Letter, Office, and other songs I don't really know much.
They had a bit of a lull.
So
yeah, it was
the first four albums basically all did the same record sale wise. Then they had a compilation album that did pretty well. The Green was the first studio album that really got them going, and then Out of Time was the one that really.
What about wait? Which one is Green? Is Green called Green? Because I'm at Document in 1987, the first record we did, and I mean that's the one I love. It's the End of the World as We Know It. Finest Work Song. So is there?
I'm just trying to read this chart
is
here.
Green before?
Document is before Green, so that's on the same level as Green. So that's when it starts to go up.
But this must have, dude. Document must have fucking, because that's their first top 10 hit. With the one I love.
And so, Shiny Happy People and Stand are before.
That's later. No. That's all later. That's 1990.
52s.
Yes, that's 19. I'm pulling it up right now. That's fucking Green album is in 88. Pop Screen. No, it would be, god damn, dude. Out of Time. Dude, Out of Time, the record that we're talking about, the one with Shiny Happy People and Losing My Religion and Radio Song. I mean, that's their 7th studio record. That's their 7th. And now they win 3 Grammy Awards, best alternative. They did have a lull. But this is the thing, dude. When did this came out? This record shit. Let me pull up because I've gotten so off. So this record came out in 1983. So in 1988, that's when Rolling Stone magazine, with all those records that aren't really getting the shine that Out of Time does, they're saying they're the great fucking, this is the band. This is the great band right now. So obviously what they're not making, they're getting in sales. Like, because dude, also don't forget, Adam, like this is all the birth of college radio, alternative music.
Are they touring?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're touring. They're definitely touring, but I think it's more just like there's a hunger for this band. There's a passion for finally, I think, a band to perform for the people that aren't the hair metal bands and the big pop of Michael Jackson. You're getting real. It's just, I hate to quote Jelly Roll, but he always says he makes music for real people, real music for real people with real problems. I'm not saying that this is that at all, but this is the exact opposite of every single thing. Just the way that Nirvana was the exact opposite of everything at that time. So an uncredited
Night Swimming on.
Night Swimming. I think that's automatic. That's the one we did, Automatic for the People. Adam, check that. Is it here? I can check right here because I got it right there.
Yes, Best of Automatic for the People.
Is it? Oh my god, I was right.
The Night Swimming was a song. Night Swimming was a song I feel like was one of the first times that I really became like dialed into like the Michael Stipe narrative. Where he was almost like a David Bowie figure.
Sure.
Because I feel like that song, I think that may be one of my favorite R.E.M.
It,
song.
it's I'm gonna do it. Adam wrote. He goes, "Night Swimming ranked number 160 on Rolling Stone magazine's 2020 list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Right behind Baba O'Reilly by The Who, and just ahead of Madonna's Into the Groove. I love that, Adam. I love that you put those little things there, like who it's before and who it's after. What let's see what.
I love
let's
that
see.
song. That song is amazing.
So there's an uncredited female cellist from the Charlotte, North Carolina Symphony that plays cello on Passion. To show you how raw they were, Peter Buck said, "We never played it all the way through before. It was just a rehearsal take." And producer Mitch Easter said, "That's fine." Perfect Circle, another song, was primarily written by their drummer Bill Berry. It features a honky-tonk piano intro and sounds more country than anything else they put out. Once again, the lyrics of Perfect Circle are purposely vague. The band agrees that the song has an emotional theme that can be interpreted in many ways. Peter Buck thinks it elicits images of children playing football one evening in Trenton, New Jersey, but Michael Stipe interprets the song as being about longing in a relationship. He's also stated that other interpretations are equally valid. It was an intensely personal song to me, he says. I really like that it can mean two different things. It's the exact same feeling, but the details are different. And then my buddy, we thought we were talking about A Perfect Circle is where the song title is the name that they use for the band. Like that's where they got the inspiration. That's pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that music? You like Tool? You a Tool guy?
I love Tool. I've never seen them live, but I heard they're really great live. But I was playing sober the other day to myself, and I was like, God, this band fucking rips.
Rules, dude. Sober's great. Sober's great. They're great live. If you get a chance to go see them.
I know. I really would love to. I just like they play a lot in California, I feel like.
They do. And they're I feel like they go on these tours. This is the thing, dude. You know, don't forget, we're in the greatest city in the world. And every night of the week, do you go to a lot of concerts here in New York, Adam?
I do. My son, my 12-year-old is a fanatic. He's just loves music, every kind of music. He's just like embedded. Like tonight I'm taking him to Childish Gambino.
Oh, is that Barclays?
Yeah.
Should I'm not a huge, I go to shows all the time. I have nothing to do. Should I go to that?
I went to college with Donald. He's an old friend of mine. And so I told him this, like I'm as old as he is.
Yeah.
So the music, I don't listen to him that much, but my 12-year-old is obsessed with him. And he was so nice, and here's a name drop, and he left us tickets, and we're going. And so I'm kind of open to the experience of it, but my son is like, he's cosplaying, he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and he's got it all dialed.
I bet it's a great concert. He seems like he's a good performer. And I think like, you know, I see it. It might not be, you know, I haven't really dug into like his music, but I see how much people love him. So obviously it's like, he's probably got, you know,
something
great song. There's something going on. That's why I'm thinking about going. Yeah. If I have nothing to do.
Let me know if you go. I'll be there with my 12-year-old.
No, I'll for sure. I'm going to see I'm going to see both nights of Pearl Jam next week. Where
are they playing?
They're playing Madison Square Garden. They're doing 2 nights. Next September 3rd and the 4th.
Oh, okay. I'll be there.
Yeah. I took mushrooms and went to go see them 22 or like early 23. And I've seen them live twice before. Have you seen them how long?
Like 30 times.
You've seen them 30 times. So then I had seen them twice. And this is what I loved at, and I think that you probably got it very early because I didn't get it the first 2 shows. Second show at Bonnaroo when we were on the lineup together, it was great. It was great. But going to see them at Madison Square Garden with a room full of diehard Pearl Jam fans,
every word,
it changed. Better. I will never not go see Pearl Jam if they're in the same city as me.
That's one of the best concerts I ever saw. Was 2002. They were supposed to play the Garden after 9/11, and they couldn't. and they played. Your producer loves Pearl Jam too, and they played 2 nights at the Garden in '02 with Ben Harper.
Oh wow!
And it was the loudest concert I've ever been to, and also the only concert I've ever seen where the police came in mid-song during Baba O'Reilly with the lights up and stopped it because the stage was going to collapse.
No way.
Yeah. Like people were, it was so emotional and so cathartic, and the lights are up, everything's up, at that last song. It's just like, and Ben Harper's on stage, and all of a sudden the fire department came out, and you could see the stage like moving.
Yeah.
And Eddie Vedder was saying, "I think you're moving the fucking stage," and then, woo! It was wild. They came out and finished, but it was like, yeah, they're amazing.
When I and maybe I was on drugs. Well, I was on drugs, not maybe, but maybe it was because I was on drugs. But that last show at MSG, which was on September 11th, they started with like present tense and some like real slower shit. But then, dude, which is great. Oh my god! And
the present tense closes out the Michael Jordan documentary.
Wait, does it? Is that what they played at the? Oh god, dude! Whoever did the fucking soundtrack to that documentary,
killed it.
That fucking when they did the Steve Kerr episode, that when it's about him hitting that game-winning shot, they used an acoustic version of Angel, or was it Angel? No, Teardrop by Massive Attack, and I mean it's just so fucking powerful. Oh, it was perfect. But dude, when they did like 4 songs, all lo-fi, like super low energy acoustic, and then they opened it up with Porch. Dude, which also is like my favorite song by them. Dude, when I swear to God, I felt the arena shaking.
People jumping. Which Porch version did they do? Did they do the like, I'm gonna do the opening really slow, or did they do the like 1, 2, 3, like what the fuck?
I think it was the fast one.
Yeah, that's what I prefer. Because sometimes they'll do a little fake out.
Yeah,
I'm sure Adam knows what I'm talking about. Well, he'll come out and he'll have a guitar and he'll play the riff by himself.
Yeah,
it'll be like really quiet, and he'll take that first part slow, and I'm like, fucking get to it, man.
Yeah. Please give us, dude. The Killers do that with Mr. Brightside, where they do like a weird start to it, and then they redo the whole thing again. But it's like, dude, it's like they're just edging you, and you're like,
you're edging the fuck out of me. I'm like, I'm not here to be edged. I'm here to rock the fuck out. Let's go.
I'm so excited. I'm so stoked that you're going to be I've literally, any person that I've met that is a diehard Pearl Jam fan is always cool. Pearl Jam fans are like, there's good people.
Yeah, we're good people. Because we know what it's like to wait for tickets for an Irving Plaza show for over 24 hours. Like,
oh my god, did you see them there?
Yeah, me and my buddy Eric Appel, shout out, there's a good name. There's an amazing director. He directed the Weird Al Yankovic movie.
Oh, cool.
When we were like 23, they came out with, or maybe a little later, they came out with the album. What's the album with the avocado on the cover?
Oh, other Adam, what do you got? Come on, dude, you got this.
It's blue and it's got like
self-titled.
Is it? Okay, so that self-titled album, they were doing like small shows all over the country, and they did a show at Irving Plaza, but you could only get tickets by hand moment of. And me and Eric split up the 24 hours, and we were like 5th online. And I did the first 12, he did the second 12, and then we went to the concert.
And it was everything, I bet.
Everything you want. I mean, the top, that was like one of the craziest moments where you look up and you see like the Strokes, Drew Barrymore, Jimmy Fallon,
everybody's there, dude.
Mike D just like sitting there looking at Pearl Jam 2 feet away, and Eddie's like 2 bottles of red wine in, just fucking blowing your mind. That was an amazing show.
Have you ever seen, and I would love to pull it up, or Adam, if you could pull it up, the guest list for an Irving Plaza show I think it's Radiohead, OK Computer Tour, and it's just Brad Pitt, George Clooney,
Eddie Vedder,
everybody is there. It's Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
That's like another one of those bands where it's like, but they don't get this. Is this it? Yeah. Can you we make it
Jill
bigger? It's like,
Sobule, Eddie Vedder. I just ran into Jill Sobule and I use the same guitar tech.
wait, do you jam? You play?
Yeah, I just finished a tour last year. I'm working on my first record. I'm hoping to get it out sometime, but it's so hard.
Sure.
I have like 5 songs done, and I need another 5, and like I work really slowly. But yeah,
Dude, that's awesome. I would think somehow, some way we got to play together because everything I do is with comedy and music, and I built like a whole studio in my apartment with the idea to like, oh, I'm just gonna make it's like I want to make music, but also I'm like, it just kind of relaxes me when I get stressed out. I just turn and I play piano or I play guitar. So I want to start doing these like live streams with comics and things like that of us just creating music.
I would love to. I'm trying to find my tone. Like I feel like I toured like a year on it during the pandemic and after the pandemic and strike. And I feel like what I'm coming to is like just like simple, earnest, like small comedy songs.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
Just very just like on their face what they are. They're small and you know, and like if the songs are good enough, it holds up the comedy, and if the comedy's good enough,
holds up the song.
You know.
Completely, dude. It doesn't, you know, I've told so many people that write music because I ghostwrite for, you know, I for some reason hear a pop song always. It doesn't have to be 10 chords. It can be 3. 3 chords is great. It's just whatever the hook is or whatever. And, you know, I think sometimes it's that like just keeping stuff so simple and layering on top of that is what was the way that I write. And it's like, I would love to be able to write, you know, fucking Paranoid Android, but don't forget like fucking Bittersweet Symphony. But Bittersweet Symphony is just fucking like 3 or 4 chords over and over.
And that's what I like. And I feel like eventually I'll like move in a different direction and do stuff. But this is my first time where I'm like, you know, I want to put this out. So eventually I'll do more complicated stuff. But I've been working with like such amazing people too, like Tom Boujor and Dave Hill. It's like, it's good. I like it. I'll send it to you.
Please do. Here, we're already at an hour 15. Now let's wrap this up. I gotta get you out of here. Adam, is there stuff that we need to talk about when it comes to this record? Like, what did I miss? Like, what's the most important of the important that we haven't talked about? What do you got, Ed?
I mean, I think you guys kind of covered. I mean, with Radio Free, I mean, this is what the album is. It puts R.E.M. on the map, and like other Adam or first Adam was saying before, like it's.
You can call me Adam too. I'm Adam too.
Well, I mean, as Adams, we just we have the best name. So you
know, I'm Josh Adam.
There you go. A lot of Adams over here. So you could be Adam 1.
No, okay. I'm he's Adam 1. You're Adam 2. I'm Adam great. 3. I'm Adam 3, but I'm Adam cubed, like in the movie Alien 3. So there's a little 3 in there.
Less effective.
Yeah.
No, but just like Adam was saying before about like just how many different bands like their sound comes from this like album, or like a Pavement, Coldplay.
I was just going to make a lit like a literally. I think it's like Counting Crows, Pavement, Coldplay, Soul Asylum, Bright Eyes, Ryan Adams. God, I'm missing. I mean,
I'm gonna throw Alice in Chains for some of their darker stuff. Kind of has that R.E.M.
Live, dude. Live, the band Live.
Wow, sure. Live is a total fucking like Phoenix. There's some international bands.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That like Phoenix has a lot of that kind of minimalist, clanky. Like we're already up to 20.
Easy. I think you can keep going. I mean, this is a band that do you feel like they get the credit that they deserve? Do you feel like they get when they're in this? I mean, they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is can be extremely hard, but obviously Jan Werner, the guy that is behind the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the editor for Rolling Stone magazine, obviously, but obviously he put him on. He put them on the cover at 5 years. So they're this cool band to him, which he leans always towards certain cool bands. Like he'll leave like some bands like Kiss he left off for a while, and Foreigner, and even though like they're not as important to music as someone like R.E.M. or someone like the Beatles or Led Zeppelin and shit like that, but it's like, dude, you know, you got to give the credit where this due, and they got in first ballot, like, so they are. I just don't know. It's like, I think a lot of it has to do, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of it, why it's like, it's not kind of like out of sight, out of mind, but their last few records didn't do well. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think it tainted their legacy at all, but I think it just kind of, they didn't connect with the younger audiences. They just kind of had their audience, and then they just stopped touring.
I just think it's touring. I just think it's like, I just think it's pretty simple. It's that, because even like we mentioned Pearl Jam before, like they always were touring. They toured every summer and every winter, and it was like you're gonna get different sets each night, and so that became the thing, and fans follow them. You know, that buildup of a community. You know, like I think there's a famous Dave Matthews Band quote that's like, we only have 35,000 fans that follow us around to different shows, you know, and it's like,
yeah,
that has kept Dave Matthews relevant. And R.E.M. never did that. That just wasn't their bag. They were artists. They did visual shit. They like, their sets didn't change as much, if I remember correctly. I mean, I only saw them once, but like, you know, they didn't, especially after, Bill Berry gets sick.
Yeah.
And then they stop, they you know, they kind of stop playing. You can't be relevant. I mean, I just saw a thing where Limp Bizkit had a sold out show. It's like,
oh, I just saw it, dude. I went to go.
Their last album didn't do well, but
not at all. But Limp Bizkit, dude, you know, we're the same age, basically. Like you listen to Limp Bizkit, it takes you right back to summer of 1999, dude. It took me right back to working a macaroni grill at Lake Forest Mall.
West Portland's the shit.
He rules, dude.
West Portland rules.
And you know what? Also, too, though, Adam, the reason that Limp Bizkit is still cool and they're selling out is that they're in on the joke.
Yeah.
Like they don't think they're like, they know that they're this shitty fucking whatever band, and they're like, dude, we don't give a fuck. We're fun. We, you know, our songs, the lyrics or whatever the fuck they are. And dude, what's his face? Fred Durst, like he's a comic. He gets it. He understands all of that and what critics say about him, and he's just like, yeah, man, I'm gonna fucking make millions of dollars.
And they're relevant because they tour, and like R.E.M. doesn't tour. Like I bet you if R.E.M. announced that they were gonna tour, they would sell out.
Oh, without a doubt, dude. I think I don't think it would be, you know, as big of what's going on right now that I feel like with I keep bringing up Oasis just because I'm really fucking jazzed. Like we're gonna go to fucking London to see him. Like it's going to be
wild in London, dude.
I saw Liam and John Squire at the Brooklyn Paramount when they made it. I mean, dude, the soccer people, the British people are they get music. They understand the fun of guitar, bass, drums, and singer, and it's incredible. And I like the excitement that I feel like that country is going through right now with the announcement of Oasis going out. I don't know if America, because they're totally different bands, but I do know that they would, of course, sell out. I think they'd be able to they're definitely doing arenas, maybe stadiums, R.E.M. What do you think?
I'd like to see R.E.M. at the Sphere.
Oh God. Did you see
No,
YouTube?
I missed it. But I really wanted to go, but like now I'm not going to go because it's the Eagles. And I have like no interest in that. But
they're good, dude. If you've never seen Eagles, you should go see Eagles. Dude, it's literally like, oh, I know that song. I know that song too.
I know. I love it all. But like, what the Sphere is like, I want to be like, what am I going to watch? Like a giant horse ride around on Desperado? Like, I don't want that. I want
the visuals during Take It to the Limit.
Yeah, like the visual. Like, am I going to be blown away by that? No, I want to see like noodling and improvisation.
Yeah.
So I feel like I missed it.
You know, I don't think I talked to Mike Mills. I don't think they're never going to go back on tour. I think what we got R.E.M. says they will never get back together in the same vein as what would you do for a Klondike bar? What would you do to get together and have a front row seat at their first show back? Like what would you
How much
pay?
money? Like Lorne Michaels, like I'll give you $1 million. Like
Yeah. What would you pay? What would you pay for a front row seat to go see R.E.M?
You know, again, like it's weird. R.E.M is weird. Like I love R.E.M. This is not my favorite R.E.M. record, but I don't know if I would really. I don't think I'm one of the people that would go out and die to see R.E.M. They're not on my list, oddly. You know, which is weird. I think it's like it has something to do again with their production, and they're like, you know, like I would rather travel through time to like 1981 Athens, Georgia, and see R.E.M.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
You know, like I don't think I really want to see R.E.M. now, or I would like if they were touring and they were at the Forum or something, and I was in LA, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go see R.E.M. But I don't know. I don't think that they would be like the band.
Not now. Not like, now, not in the 60s. Not like they're older, dude.
Radiohead was touring. I would pay a lot of money to go see that.
Is that the band that you would pay the most to, Radiohead?
That's not like
I don't know, like what
right
band?
Now?
Well, no, I would say not just working. Like if what's the band or what artist would you be like, I would pay $5,000, and it could be anybody. I'd pay $5,000 to $10,000 for a ticket to go see them. Like, you know,
probably Radiohead.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that just from the experience and the songs and the like what you're gonna get, the show you're gonna get.
Oh, dude, can you imagine them at the Sphere?
That would be amazing. Yeah. I don't know, that or Beyonce.
I would love to see Beyonce. I mean,
I saw her in London I would maybe.
It was that good.
Yeah, dude, it was amazing. Like I saw one of the best concerts I've seen is I went to the opening of the Cosmopolitan Hotel, and I saw Jay-Z, Rihanna, Chris Martin, and Kanye West play like for 250 people, and that was really great. And it was like black tie with a full band and an orchestra and stuff. And that was really great. And it made me, you know, like if you've never seen Jay-Z live, like he's really great. He's great live. Like Kendrick Lamar is great live. Yeah, those are people that I'd really want to see, I think. I've seen a lot of people. Like, what about you?
All right. So I say it all the time, and I've said it on this podcast. The one one artist that I would love to see live, and I would pay a substantial amount of money, even though I probably wouldn't if he was touring, is Neil Diamond. I just love him, man. I love his music. It's my guilty pleasure, you know, and you know, if you ever get to talk to Yasser and have him tell you about our friend Angelo Bowers, he might have mentioned him before, but he passed away in 2012. And Angelo and I were such music fans, and we always talked about what we were going to do when we had money. And it's not millions. It was just, dude, we wanted to go to concerts and fucking go to the movies. And like, but concerts was the thing. Like we were talking about, like the reason I'm going to see both nights of Pearl Jam is not just because I love the band. It's to honor Ange because he loved Pearl Jam. And we talked about how great that would be to be able to afford good seats. And I think, you know, as far as like Neil Diamond, you know, I never had money when he was touring. And then the second I was ready and I'm like, oh, now I can go. He stopped touring because he got Parkinson's. And it's like, I would just
night now, but I hear you. I love Neil Diamond. That's a good one. That's a cool one.
It's a bummer. It's one of those things where you're like, damn it, man. I was off by literally like 6-7 months where you know, because you know when it's like when you first start making money and you're like, I shouldn't spend any of this because I'm gonna lose it and it's all gonna go away. It's like it takes a minute for you to go, oh no, like you're okay. Like you're not the old Adam, you're not the old Josh. You're not gonna fuck this up. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're fine. And now you get to a place where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go see, you know, My Morning Jacket all 3 nights, or I'm gonna go do this or do that. And it's like it just sucks because it was like literally 6 months away. But that's why like, dude, that's why I might go see Childish Gambino tonight. Yeah. Because you're like, dude, I might really like his shit. and I might miss it, and he might never go on tour ever again. You have no idea.
You want to be there. I always live life like that. I'm on the move all the time. I feel like I just want to be there. I like to be there because I want to, what else is there? You're just going to miss it. And then you're just not going to do it.
No, I can tell. And you've also done so much cool shit. By the way, before we wrap this up and I get into the final questions, like, please plug everything. I know you have a series you're on. Just get that out of the way so I'll ask you the final question.
Very simple plugging situation for me this time. Just Mr. Throwback on Peacock. It's my new show with Stephen Curry from the Golden State Warriors.
Crazy.
And I'm so proud of it, and I think it's so good, and it's on Peacock right now, and it'll be on NBC on September 12th. So tune in, and it's a simple thing for me, just that.
What's it like working with Curry? Like, is he just? Great. He seems like dude, his dad. I used to love his dad, Del.
Yeah, I sat next to his dad at the Serbia game in Paris at the Olympics, and his dad's so sweet, but it was wild. Like, we were nervous that we were going to lose. And then you look over and his dad is like, having that. And if you're like, I have children, I empathized right away. I mean, when I have that feeling, it's like when I send my kid off to first grade.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God, I hope you're going to be okay. Like, he was watching his son battle Serbians for gold medal. Like, it was like, I saw that face and I knew it.
I don't think you're a diehard Warriors fan, are you?
No,
like, are you
I'm a Knicks fan? I'm a Knicks
you're
fan.
Knicks through and through. Like, you bleed
blue, yeah.
I'm a Wizards. I actually have their logo tattooed right fucking there. I know, but yes, dude, the Knicks haven't doing much better, bro. So what are you talking about? You're in the playoffs, but you're not winning shit.
We've been in the second round 2 years in a row.
All right.
The Wizards were in the second round.
And were you alive the last time the Knicks?
Neither of us were.
Exactly.
Dude, the Wizards are a franchise that came out of losing to the Harlem Globetrotters. Let's stop.
Is that true? I don't think is that true?
Quick pause on Wizards versus Knicks as better franchise. But anyway, the future's bright for you.
And the future's bright for you too.
Well, I love this Villanova squad. I love this film. The more Villanova players on the Knicks, bring them. I love it.
Yeah, I think what's cool is that, because you guys have been hindered because of your owner. Your owner, he sucks. Like, he sucks. But you have diehard fans, and and it's the same. But what I'm saying is, like,
take my tickets away. No comment.
Oh, you have the owner. What's his name? Whatever his name is.
Scott Dolan is a genius and a scholar, and I love JD in the straight shots. I go see JD in the straight shots every night at the TV King Club, and I'm so grateful.
Oh, dude, I might meet you there, dude, if I have a show to do. But with the Wizards, and I think, like, sticking by your team, and I think that's, I know you grew up in New York, so you have it, and you fuck with. Are you a Giants fan too, and like, or Jets fan?
Nick Jet Met, so I'm a born loser.
Oh fuck!
But I got the Rangers, so I've in my lifetime I've had one championship.
Dude, let me tell you something, man. When the Jets win, and it's been years, and the Knicks win, and when the Wizards win, because we've been diehards, it's going to be that much sweeter. It's going to be, and that's what means everything. That, because I lived in LA 14 years. I'm not going to fucking root. I wasn't going to root for the Clippers. If I was going to choose one, it's definitely the Clippers, but I'm not rooting for the Clippers. I'm not rooting for the Lakers. I'm not rooting for the Dodgers. I'm not rooting for any New York team. I do like certain players on the Knicks, and I do respect,
How do you not like Bronson?
He's great. Well, actually, his dad Rick played for Temple, and my dad got me into the Temple Owls because he went to college there. So
cool.
That's the same way that, like, Dell, because I was a Hornets fan when I was younger. So I love all that shit. Cool. So what I'm saying is, dude, we stick by our teams, and when the payoff comes, woo-wee.
Isn't that right, James Scott Dolan, if you're listening?
All right, everybody, watch the TV show here. Let's do these final questions I ask everybody. We'll get you out of here. What's your favorite song on this record?
Talk About the Passion.
Okay. Is there any reason why that you chose that, or
It's
just
just
because
the
it
most
got you?
R.E.M. It's got the most like R.E.M. It's quintessential R.E.M. to me, even more than Radio Free Europe, which is like I like Radio Free Europe. It's a better pop song. It's a little thin.
Yeah.
Talk About the Passion to me has like that like dark edge of Michael Stipe. And it's like a good breakup song. I don't know. I like it.
Okay. What's your least favorite song on this record, or one you skip over?
Jeez.
And you can just, it's never, I would say least favorite. It's just like, because sometimes it can be the hit because you've heard it so, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about your least favorite.
Yeah, like
Really?
9 and 9, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I skip over that middle section from like, yeah.
No, you're not wrong. There were parts in the album as it went. It was like, it's not like it was bad. It's just, it kind of blended in, and it wasn't like some of the songs at the beginning and the end. I feel like there's all great shit through and through, but I think the beginning is great, and I think the way they end the record is great. And I think in the middle, there's just, it's not bad, but I'm just saying it can be
tracks. Yeah.
Sure. Can you fuck to this record?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, you can fuck to this record.
You think you can fuck to anything, but
no, you can fuck to this record.
What?
Like a Sunday morning, it's raining, you put it on to clean, and you're like both in your like pajamas, sweatpants. You're like dancing, and you're like jumping around. And she's like, "Oh my god, I love this song." It's like,
yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, I like this song too.
Dude, my Adam goes, yeah, that was a quick yes. Like you said that. You've definitely fucked to some interesting music, I bet, because of that situation. Because of that situation where it's like you guys are hanging, the thing's on, and next thing you know,
fucking is not always like let's set the mood and put on this, fuck track. Sometimes fucking is like, oh yeah, I like this song. It's fuck.
Yeah, dig it. What would be your elevator pitch to get someone to listen to this record?
If you've listened to any rock music over the last 30 years, this is where it came from.
Perfect. That was perfect. Dude, please come back, man. Please. I would love to have you back on. We've got so many more records and you're awesome. So
anytime.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me so much. I really appreciate it.